I, 25, F, have been married to Jason, 29, M, for 5+ years, and I am still a virgin. This is a throwaway account for obvious reasons. Names have been changed to conceal identity. For some background context, Jason and I have known each other for a long time, but only got romantically involved later in life. We have always had a strong relationship built on trust and mutual respect for one another. During our dating period, we had agreed on saving ourselves for marriage due to our beliefs. We had an open and honest line of communication leading up to marriage about our wants and needs so that we would both know what to expect from one another. When I was a child, I was sexually assaulted on different occasions by multiple people that I trusted and loved. I was always upfront with this information to Jason because I carry a lot of residual guilt, and since my only encounter with sex was non-consensual, I wanted to be open because I didn't know how it would affect our bedroom life. He was and always has been so patient and kind regarding my trauma. Now on to the story. During our engagement, we often talked about how excited we both were to finally get to be with one another intimately. On our wedding day, when we were heading home after the reception, I found myself nervous but excited to take the next step in our relationship. Yet, once we got home, he had told me that he was too tired to do anything that night. I felt sad, but I understood since we had had a long day. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and I brought up the topic again, and he told me that he just wasn't interested in having sex. This crushed me. Up until this point, we had talked about it, and he was always excited. This brought up feelings of not being good enough for me. As a survivor of sexual assault, it's always been my nightmare that my partner would look at me differently because of what has happened to me. Despite this, I tried to not take it personal and instead asked him why he wasn't interested. Please subscribe to support the channel. I questioned if it was because of me, to which he reassured that it had nothing to do with me. He expressed that it was just something that he was never interested in, but that he would be open to trying to. As time went on, there were a few moments that we tried and failed. My trauma caused a lot more issues than I originally thought it would, causing me to have flashbacks and panic attacks. Jason was always loving and did his best to soothe me when this happened. After a while, I found that it was easier for me to give him oral than for us to try penetration / for him to give me oral. Despite my trauma, I was and have always been open to trying, even if it's difficult sometimes. Over the years, our bedroom life has become extremely one-sided. I would try to initiate us both having sex, but most of the time he would decline or outright refuse and opt for me to just give him oral. This caused a lot of self-esteem issues on my end to arise, and in turn caused my trauma to get worse because anything inherently sexual triggered me because the one-sided gestures made me feel inhuman, just like my sexual assault did. One year on our anniversary, I laid out the whole 9 yards. I made a romantic dinner at home and bought lingerie specifically for this night. Things seemed to be going well, but I started to feel flustered. I was trying to work through it and keep the mood going. He must have noticed the shift in moods because he told me to stop. I felt embarrassed because it was going so well, but I was starting to have a slight panic attack. I told him that I wanted to keep trying, but I might have to take it slower, and that's when he replied, "We should just stop trying. Maybe you masturbating on your own would be better." In that moment, it felt that all these years of trying to improve and move past all of my trauma was for nothing. I couldn't help it. Hearing him say those words made me break out into sobs. It felt as if my worst nightmare was coming true, that I would never be good enough to try and work past everything. After that, he didn't want to do anything for 6 months, and I have never been the same since then. I'm at a loss. Outside all of this, he is the most loving and compassionate person I know. A part of me wants to be able to move past it all, but the other part is so broken by him saying that to me. I don't really know what posting this will really do for me other than saying it out into the universe so that I don't have to carry it alone anymore. But maybe someone out there will relate to it at least. Comments. Was_taken. You need professional help. Find a therapist and work on yourself before anything else. If you have panic attacks, just trying over and over is not going to fix anything. You need to get to the root of the issue and find a solution. VLLVR. OP. Please, whatever therapist you seek, make sure they are a licensed professional. Do not go to the religiously affiliated counselor. You need to work on your trauma with a professional before you continue to go down the path of having sex, especially if the times you have tried have caused panic attacks. It's an assumption, but it seems you both have religious trauma based on your upbringing and experiences. I am saying this based on your explanation of why you waited, your beliefs. A church counselor will mainly guide you in the ways of the church, and if some of your issues stem from your upbringing in the church, it won't help. There are often a lot of taboos in regard to sex in the church and can manifest problems with intimacy in relationships. Again, an assumption, but seems Jason might be asexual as he has clearly stated he's not interested in sex. Subconsciously, he could have been using your desire to wait and past SA as reasons to avoid it prior to marriage, and now faced with the prospect of now being married, he's finding other reasons to avoid it. ETA. Jason could also be concerned pushing you past your emotional abilities would do more harm to you. So, he's learned not to make you uncomfortable. Neelian 1. I question part of this thought. He was perfectly willing to accept blowjobs. Now, not all asexual people are the same, but that's really outside what I know of. From asexual people I've talked to, both online and IRL, the fact that he was willing, at some point, to go down on her IS in line. But last they were having sexual contact, it seems it's all one-sided, her, performing on him. Then he says she should stick to masturbation for her own orgasm? Is she still giving him blowjobs, while he's giving her nothing? The rest, yes, OP, go get real therapy, separately, also get sex therapy, once your main therapist says you're ready to try it. And get some couples therapy, again, not religious, but real therapy. Uvamory. This. Your husband isn't equipped to deal with this OP, and he can't help you. You're looking for validation in something, sex with your partner, but you're not able to perform. Therefore, you can't be putting any type of validation on it. It sounds like your husband has been extremely patient and doesn't want to pressure you. And it sounds like you have routinely shown signs you're not able to partake and cope with having sex in your marriage. Which isn't your fault, but it's certainly not your husband's fault either. Please seek some deep therapy. And couples therapy, too. Please subscribe to support the channel.